Welcome to Bridge Atlantic's interviews, where we get to know the people behind and in front of the creative industries. We're your hosts, music web designer Ross Barber-Smith from Scotland, owner of Electric Kiwi, where we create awesome custom websites for bands, artists and musicians. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook as Electric Kiwi.
This is true. And I'm singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist Marcin Novelli from Canada, a man who wears many hats, literally and figuratively. Got my new Jack Skellington hat on, and I'm so proud of. When I'm not releasing music under my own name or my side project, Midnight Soundtrack, I'm producing and mixing records for other artists or directing and editing music videos and music documentaries. All things music. I just live for music and film. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as Marcio Novelli.
And if you want to look as awesome as Marcio and I hopefully do, you can grab one of our Bridge Atlantic shirts at our website. There's a link to it in our show notes, so go and get them.
7 different colors. 7 different colors.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, so go to that really helps us keep the show going, helps us keep the lights on, as they say. You can actually use a coupon code BTA Rocks to receive 10% off your purchase, as our little way of saying you rock. Thank you. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But enough about us. Joining us this week are twins Mercedes and Phoenix Arn-Horn of Canadian pop punk group Courage My Love. The band formed in 2009, were discovered at a Battle of the Bands in Ontario in early 2010, and were soon signed to Warner Music Canada. Since then, they've released 4 EPs and 1 full-length album, with their new album, Synesthesia, due for release in February 2017.
That's exciting. They were nominated for Best Breakthrough Group of the Year in the 2014 Juno Awards, and were named one of the top 100 bands you need to know in 2012 by Alternative Press magazine. We're looking forward to getting to know more about them, hear more about their upcoming album, and the advice they'd offer to their fellow musicians. So welcome to the show, Mercedes and Phoenix.
Hey, what's up? Nice to talk to you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Tell us 3 things about yourself that everyone should know, and maybe just go back and forth.
There's really not that much that people need to know, so we'll just do 2. Things that people need to know about me. I guess this goes for both of us, actually. Not only do we love music, but we're also both really into horror movies, any type of horror movie, really, especially like 80s cheesy horror movies. I think it has something to do with the fact that we're born on Halloween. So that'll be my second thing. We're both born on Halloween.
I'm so impressed by that. I really am.
Oh, thanks. It's like we planned it, but we didn't.
Okay, we might as well do 3 things. I thought you guys were going to go back and forth, so let's do a third thing. What's a third?
Wow.
Third
I don't know. Third thing, I don't know if this is interesting or not, but I've never broken a bone, so that's kind of a cool thing. I'm 23.
Neither have I. And I was just gonna say, now we're gonna walk around with broken bones. Ross, you ever broken a bone?
Yeah, I have. I broke my wrist playing football or soccer.
You did not.
I guess you call it.
You don't play sports. Right.
I don't play sports, and this is one of the reasons why. Okay, it was at school. It was in our PE class. I guess you guys would call it gym.
Yeah.
Because we call everything different things. But yeah, I was put in the goals, so I had to like catch the ball or kick the ball and prevent it from getting in the goal. And some guy like kicked the ball really hard. It hit my wrist like this, and then I fell. But the way I fell on my arm is like I fell like backwards, and I broke it. Yeah. And the teacher didn't believe me. He was like, "No, you're fine. Continue playing."
Wow.
So I did, like the trooper I am. I continued playing, even though all I wanted to do was cry. And I then went to the hospital. Had to wait there for 5 hours, but did find out. Yep, in fact, I had a broken wrist. And I went into school the next day waving my cast in his face and was like, hey, how do I do this here?
You should have gotten like a week off of PE class.
I
Typical
should,
PE teacher.
I mean, it's probably karma from forging letters from my parents saying that I was too ill to do gym that week, so I could just sit and not do it because totally. I hated it. I hated it so much.
I don't think anyone likes gym.
enough about Ross and his broken wrist. Let's talk a little bit about Courage My Love here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've had a few bands on the show, who work with family members, and it's pretty interesting to hear about how they balance things and what the dynamic is. So I'd be curious to know what the dynamic between you two is, and if you have like defined roles when it comes to things like writing, administration, social media, and all that kind of thing.
Well, our dynamic, we pretty much do everything together. Like all the songwriting we do together. all the brainstorming for imagery and art and videos and all that kind of stuff we do together. Obviously perform together and tour together. So it's just kind of like we're just attached at the hip all the time. And we're a pretty good team that way because I think being twins, it's easy. We can kind of finish each other's sentences literally and figuratively. So that's pretty much our dynamic. And then, I don't know, I think Fien is a really creative person, so she does a lot. She does a lot of our demos, and on this album, she's been doing a lot of the programming for synths and beats and all that kind of stuff. So she does a lot of that, the creative musical stuff, the vibe of the songs and all that kind of stuff. But Said's also, I couldn't really do that kind of stuff if we didn't have, songs to work off of, so it's good because a lot of the time she'll start a song idea and then it'll just kind of expand as the demo becomes whatever it is, so it's a good teamwork effort. And I think I kind of am more social media-y than you. I hate social media. I'm so bad at it. She doesn't even have any of the band accounts on her phone. No, it's just me. So yeah. I'm so bad.
Basically, you guys work really well together, and that's amazing.
I guess. Thanks. Kind of like you and Ross. You guys are a good team too.
Yeah, you know what? We may not be twins, and we may not live in the same country or even continent, but we're kind of attached to the hip.
That's even more impressive.
I would say we kind of are. You're right.
Wow. So you guys, do you manage your own social media accounts?
Yeah, we do.
Or is it kind of split?
At this point, we have other people who have access to it, like our label, our managers, but they don't post from it daily. We are the ones who post from it all the time.
They're posting the promotional stuff, right? Things like that. Yeah, sure. You can clearly tell the difference.
Yeah, right. Unless there's something that's if it's really important and time sensitive, they will take care of it.
Sure.
But for the most part, it's Phoenix and me, or mostly me. Mostly you, to be honest.
Awesome. So, you guys signed to Warner Music Canada pretty early in your career, and you guys were, how old were you?
17.
That's young. Yeah. Were you still in high school or just finishing it?
We were kind of weird. We were homeschooled throughout our teen years, so taking courses online at that point. Yeah. High school. Yeah. High school.
Like we said, you guys totally have hippie parents because your name's just I'm a total hippie parent. I know it. So you guys were homeschooled your whole life?
Yeah, pretty much. We went to public school for a while when we were younger, but right when we started getting into our high school career was where we started doing music and kind of doing that full time. So we found out pretty quickly that we didn't have enough time to do everything that we wanted to do and do, your regular school hours at the same time. So we ended up taking a lot of courses online, hiring tutors, and my parents were really supportive with all that kind of stuff. They're really good at that kind of stuff. So around age 14 is when we really started doing homeschool and then music full time.
I love that. You know what I mean? And I think that I always say I think about 90% of what you do in school is kind of useless. Because there's just so much wasted time. I mean, there's a social aspect, of course. I mean, pro and con for sure. But something I've considered for my kids. So I think that's it was a positive experience for you.
For sure. Definitely, and it's not like we don't have any friends and we're sociopathic weirdos. We totally
besides
know how to
being
make
born
friends.
on Halloween.
Yeah, other than that, and we just randomly love scary movies.
Right.
The gorier the better, for sure.
Right.
But we can function in society. A lot of people kind of assume if you're homeschooled that you are just totally sheltered from the world and you live in a basement and you're Amish or something. I don't know. So that's not the reality, okay? No. That's not how it is.
Well, going back to that, so you guys signed really early in your career. What would you say was the main benefit of the label support? And if you hadn't signed to Warner, for example, how do you think things would have progressed for you if you were doing things independently?
I guess it's just easier if you're signed to a major. You just get funding for things that you wouldn't have if you weren't signed. It's easier to tour because they'll give you a tour budget. It's easier to make cool videos because they'll fund a lot of that. Opportunities as well. Like, we never thought of ourselves as ever being on the radio, because it's like, how do you even go about that?
Yeah.
But for this new single, Stereo, that just came out, it's starting to get radio play a lot in Canada. And hopefully, you know, we've got some things in the US, but hopefully it travels outside of that as well. But that's something that we would never know how to even get our foot in the door if we didn't have people who, it's like their job to get it done. So,
and you learn a lot.
Yeah, I was just going to ask.
I'm sorry.
It's exactly what I was going to ask. What have you learned from that? And do you think that if tomorrow you became independent, if you'd be able to sustain your career, having picked up, you know, and learned from the last few years from being on a label?
I think like you learn a lot working with those kind of people and just learn how, I guess, like the industry works. But I do think you can do it independently too. It's just kind of about having that savvy and like knowing the right people and stuff. In this day and age, it's a lot easier too, because we have, you know, you can not that we did this, but you can record an album on your laptop, and you can kind of reach a whole new fan base of people just through social media and stuff. So I think that aspect of it is totally doable on your own.
You sort of briefly touched on the new record a little bit earlier. I know you said Phoenix has programmed some of the tracks. As a whole, were you involved more in the production side of things this time around compared to previous releases?
Definitely.
I think so. Yeah, mostly just also because we both kind of, you know, after recording for like a couple of years, like we already kind of knew more about recording and like how to do certain things and like the terminology, I guess. So it makes it easier to control and kind of produce your own stuff if you already know the words and like what to say.
And I don't know, I think this time around we had a way clearer vision of what we wanted to do, because up until this point it's been like, for example, every video it's just kind of been like, oh, that's a cool idea, let's do that. Or we write a song and it's like, okay, that's cool, let's do that. But this time around, we really were paying attention to the aesthetic of everything and the general vibe, making sure everything ties together. So all our videos are going to have a general theme and sort of tie together somehow. And all the music kind of it's very eclectic, but it does have a vibe that ties it together. The album art, just, you know, in general, we were really playing with kind of old technology and 80s. We were just saying how we love 80s horror movies and stuff. So like for our videos, we're shooting them all on like really old school cameras and kind of playing around with 70s and 80s video effects and stuff like that. And using a lot of that same type of thing, like radio broadcasts and samples from, you know, a lot of that kind of stuff in our music too. So it's just going to be I think it's going to be a lot more just tied together and solid this time around.
And hopefully it sounds like us, like a bit more like, you know, I think it's hard if you're a band and you're young and like you've only been doing it for X amount of years. It's hard to find a sound necessarily, because sometimes, I don't know, it just takes a while to develop.
To be doing
it. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
But I'm hopefully like, I think we've found like a sound that we really like and we can go after in the future. But
Well, I'm excited to hear it. I really am excited to hear it. So did you guys work at all with an outside producer, or did you guys completely produce it? Okay, who'd you work with?
Two. There's
one of my all-time favorites, David Bendis, who lives in New Jersey. So he's like one of my all-time favorites. And so he really taught us a lot about how to, you know, thrive in a studio environment. And I felt like I was starting at square one again, because all the stuff we did with him, there's no like editing on the vocals, there's no auto-tune, there's no like timing of the drums. Everything was live, like performed.
Nice.
So I felt like even just learning how to properly play to a click, I just like really, we honed in on that kind of stuff. And then Chris Perry, who's also our manager, and he did For Now, he did Becoming. So, you know, we still have some of that vibe in there as well.
So what was the process like, though? Did you guys start a song from scratch production-wise with them, and then bring it home and kind of add your extra flavors to it? Like, how was the process for the actual production of the album?
I think it's the opposite. Yeah, more the opposite. Like, we had like all these demos on my laptop where we kind of had all the synth parts and everything figured out and all the drum programming and then some guitar and stuff in there too. and then we'd bring it to the studio and then kind of rearrange it, I guess, in pre-production and just find all the best parts and like expand on those, I guess, and then just kind of like figure out the best version of the song in the studio, I guess. But
and David especially is very creative, like when it comes to the songwriting of it.
He's really good. He's a really good songwriter too, so that helps just figuring out parts and stuff for sure. Yeah,
That's exciting. That's really
Thank
exciting.
you.
I'm excited to hear
Thanks.
this, and I'm happy for you guys. So
thank you.
I want to ask, has there been a standout moment in your career so far? And I'm sure you'll have many more to come in the future, but, perhaps something that many people don't know about, that was maybe an important personal milestone for you guys?
For sure. There's been a lot of those, especially the past couple of years, just like the past 2 years especially. Like, I think in terms of touring, doing Warped Tour for the first time was a really big milestone because we thought like, yeah, we've done tours, we know what we're doing. And Warped Tour is a whole other can of worms. Like, it's really fun and it's awesome and the people are amazing. But it is just like really hardcore every day. Like, you're putting in probably 10 to 12 hours of work every day. And it's like a real tour, just traveling in a bus or bandwagon together. It's like the same thing every day, but it's still different every day.
It just kind of pushes you like mentally and physically because like, well, for us, like we're not at a level where we can have techs just like dolly all our gear down to the stage every day
and we
walk,
just
like a
like
mile.
sleep in and show up. Like,
so we just like, we'd have to like wake up at like 7 a.m. and like trudge with all our crap down these like muddy parking lots and stuff, and
then
like, it's fun, but
it's super like we're not trying to complain.
No, but after a while it kind of like you get in this mindset where you're just there to like work and you're like playing the show is like the easiest part of your day, and then everything else is like the hard part, like getting your gear there, doing the interviews, doing all that kind of stuff,
the flyering,
you have to go there's so much stuff, but it's like a really good tour to kind of cut your teeth on for sure.
You guys ready for 20 questions?
Yes.
All right, who was born first?
Technically me, but I mean it's a weird C-section, but it came out first.
Okay, but you came out first.
You don't need to tell them that.
It's okay. I was C-section too, so.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Meat or veggies?
Veggies for sure.
Are you guys vegetarian?
Yep.
Vegan. Okay, sorry. I always do this the typical vegan thing. We feel like we're kindred
that's
spirits.
cool.
Anyway.
Because it's rare. Yeah, it's rare.
Twitter or Facebook?
Twitter, I think. Yeah.
Facebook.
Ooh.
I think. Yeah, Facebook.
Marvel or DC?
Man. Marvel.
Yeah.
Yoga or yogurt?
Yogurt.
Vampires or zombies?
Ooh, it's your turn. Zombies for sure.
Education or experience?
Experience.
Homeschool.
I was gonna say.
Stranger Things or Orange is the New Black?
Stranger Things.
So good, right?
Yeah.
So good. Okay, so I hope you guys give the right answer for this, but Canada or Scotland?
Oh,
be careful, ladies.
We've never been to Scotland.
Possible way to do this. Okay,
what's your answer?
I mean, I've never been to Scotland. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna say Canada.
I'll say Scotland. Whatever. That's the only way we can neutralize this.
Yeah, isn't that where churches are from?
Yeah,
there you go.
For sure.
Yeah, churches are from Glasgow, actually, where I live.
Glasgow.
And I was gonna say, I'm sure there's a lot of churches. No. Okay, no. Like with a V, churches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways. Churches and Ross, so
There
yeah.
you go. Churches
Exactly,
and
that's all you
Ross.
need.
That's all you
Yeah.
need, huh?
Talent or attitude?
Talent.
yeah.
Obviously. American Horror Story or The Walking Dead?
Oh man, The Walking Dead.
Really?
I don't know.
Shoot.
Ben,
I'll say American
you can't
Horror
fucking
Story.
swear on this show. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
I'm kidding.
Dang it.
Actually, usually I'm the one to drop the first F-bomb, so I'm proud of you. I'm really proud of you. I really am. I'm impressed.
Okay, good.
Actually.
It's
I
not
mean
you
that-
for once.
I mean that sincerely.
Jeez.
So
I'm throwing back to your 80s horror movies here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I did look through your Twitters, so I knew that in
you
advance
knew?
that you liked them.
Stalker.
So I'm going to ask you to pick between two heavyweights. I'm going to ask you to
Okay.
choose between Freddy or Jason.
Ooh, I knew this day would come.
I gotta say Freddy. I mean, cause it's just I love the like dream world, like
Yeah.
trippy,
Freddy.
crazy stuff.
Yeah, I guess Freddy. I love
Freddy.
Jason, but Freddy takes it.
Well, this is a Canadian versus American band, but Marianas Trench or Fall Out Boy?
I'll say Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. They have some hits. They got some classics.
For sure. Sorry, Mariana's Trench.
Batman
Yeah.
or Superman?
Batman.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. I don't know why we still ask this question. We started asking this question when Miley Cyrus was doing all that annoying stuff. And it's an ironic question, but
That's
work
okay.
or work?
I guess I would like to say a healthy balance of both. If I can. Yeah.
It's too hard to
That's the right
choose.
answer, actually. That's the
But
right
you know,
answer.
Do you want to
Marcia,
hear?
This,
I made a
this
joke
question's-
about.
Oh, sorry. I'm literally interrupting you with the worst joke of all time.
Oh no, please,
But-
Please tell
do.
the worst joke.
Please do.
I made this
God.
myself,
Oh God.
in case you couldn't tell. So, what does Billy
know.
Ray Cyrus say to Miley every morning when she wakes up?
What?
Miley, get to work.
So bad. Like,
You have to laugh.
You know what? We seldom have Canadians on the show, and I it's such a reflection of myself because the amount of times you guys have said sorry.
Sorry.
People always tell me I say sorry. I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
But we do. We
You
say
do.
sorry and we tell
You do.
cheesy jokes. It's kind of
That's
awesome.
fine.
It's kind of awesome.
That's fine. But what I was going to say about twerk or work, I think, Marcio, what we have to remember is twerk or work is not a literal question. It's more, a
symbolic.
metaphorical
Like
question.
partying
It
or
is.
working, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
It's
Yeah.
philosophical.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is philosophical.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the word. So from one serious question to another, Michael Jackson or Michael Bolton?
You guys don't know who Michael Bolton is, do you?
I know who Michael Bolton is.
Oh, you know
but-
what? I'm so impressed with you today. Like, really?
Really?
Both of you, but
You're
yeah.
killing it.
You swore
Oh,
and you know who
thanks.
Michael Bolton is.
Oh man.
Jeez.
Well, it might be because I saw like a car commercial where he's like singing in it and stuff, but whatever.
Who cares where
I didn't
you
need
know
to
him
go
from?
that far. with
We
that.
know
No,
Michael
I'll-
Bolton because our mothers listened to Michael Bolton when we
Exactly,
were like
there you go.
little
Yes.
ones. So that's why we know.
Exactly.
So who do you
I'll say
pick?
Michael
Bolt-
Jackson. I'll say Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Same, because of the Thriller video. Like, solely because of that.
Oh.
Tying in, so there's a theme. You were talking about a theme on your album. There's a theme in this interview. See this? It
There
themes
is.
around. It's working out. Again. Celine Dion, Canadian, or Marilyn Manson.
Oh, man.
It's
Celine
your turn.
Dion.
Yeah.
Really?
I
I'm
love Marilyn
surprised by that.
Manson, but she is a golden unicorn.
Yeah,
like
she's pretty
she is the
sweet.
Canadian pride. She's the crown jewel of Canada. Like you just have to.
I'm an awful
Celine
Canadian
every
because I totally would pick Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, I think most people would.
No,
And
most
I
people
love
don't
Marilyn
actually. Most
Manson.
people don't. Well, actually,
don't?
Really?
maybe a healthy balance. I don't know.
Yeah, we need to
But
go
man-
back and
We have to go back,
sort of
yeah.
tally
We're
all
not
these
gonna
up.
do that.
Yeah,
No,
she's
we're not
nice.
gonna go
We say we will. Good intention.
You can do that, Rob.
No. So, whale or kale?
Whale or kale?
Is
Is that a hidden?
what does it mean? I don't know the lingo here,
Ladies,
guys.
ladies, they rhyme.
Okay.
They
All
rhyme.
right.
You know,
can-
we
I can
may be
appreciate
in our
that.
30s, but rhyming is still fun.
It's important. I'm just gonna.
Why did you
I'm
age
just-
me?
Yeah, you need to even say that on air. God.
They can
No.
cut it.
I look
I
pretty
guess-
good for 55, though, don't I?
You do.
Yeah,
I didn't-
thanks,
I
thanks.
look pretty good for
Preserved.
105.
42 last May.
Kale. Oh no, whale.
I'm just gonna think in terms of
know.
like what I'd rather eat. I don't know. It's
Why?
just easier. I don't know. It's just easier. But I'll just say kale, I guess,
Yeah.
because of that.
Fair enough. Bette
You
Midler,
suck.
Or the Riddler?
The Riddler. I think the Riddler.
Isn't Bette Midler?
She's that like
Yeah.
the show tunes.
Is she in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane?
No.
She was in Hocus Pocus, that amazing Disney film
Yes,
that
yeah.
Marcio hates.
I don't
I
hate it.
love
I'm just not in love with it like you
Are you
are,
scared?
Ross.
So good. So
It
good.
frightened you.
Don't lie, you were terrified of that movie.
Oh man.
I guess Bette Midler. I'm just gonna switch it up.
Keeping
your
it
final
real.
question.
She's keeping it real is what she's doing.
She is.
Keeping it real.
So
She
keep it
is.
real on this one. Your final question is, Ross,
Oh no,
Oh, Marcio.
don't do this.
You know what we have to do?
No. I'm just gonna say a healthy balance of both, like I did with that other
That's like
question.
asking yin or yang.
You can't pick.
You can't pick. You're literally wearing a white and black shirt. Like it's yin and yang.
Yeah.
True.
Without one, there's
no
the other
other.
can't exist.
Yeah.
So
This is true.
I'm sorry.
That might
Tapping
be
out of this question.
that might be one of the best answers we've received in our 120 plus episodes. What advice do you have for young bands starting out? How do they get to like the next level?
I think it's like a good idea to just stick with it. I think a lot of bands quit early, kind of like before anything really happens for them. Because it actually takes, I don't know, just in our experience, it's taken a lot of time just to get anywhere really notable, I guess, like, or it takes a long time to actually make things happen. So don't get discouraged just because you have to wait or feel like you're waiting. I guess.
Even the overnight successes that
Yeah.
seem to be overnight successes have probably been at least putting in like 5 years.
Yeah.
So
Like Lorde was signed for like 3 years or something before she even put out an album and hadn't done like shows or anything. Like they were just working on songs with her. So like,
I think that's probably the best advice because if you play enough shows and you're around long enough, people will become your fans. Just through the science of like if someone hears your name enough or sees you enough, they end up liking you.
yeah,
That's
true.
and that's not. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm just saying it will happen eventually.
Yeah.
Just the key is just to not give up.
And I also think another good thing is just to try to stay true to yourself because I know when you're young, you're super impressionable and people always feel, people want to give you advice, but
Advice is free.
yeah, people always feel like they need to kind of steer you in one direction or another, right? When you're young. But I feel like if you stay true to yourself and you put out music and content that you like and you believe in, then other people will too. Because you can smell baloney from a mile away. So that's my advice, I guess.
That was a lot of advice.
A lot of advice.
It's all valuable, so we appreciate that. For sure.
Don't let people tell you what to do, but I'm going to tell you what to do.
We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. I know you mentioned social media and how you guys do quite a lot of the social media yourselves. How important is it to have a personal connection with your fans? And what would you suggest for artists who are maybe struggling with it or aren't sure where to start?
I think it's really important right from the get-go. So I'm not sure. I know that you'd know who they are. Tegan and Sarah are a Canadian group, and they have been doing. Their career has already been like almost 20 years long, at least 15 years long, and it's because their fans are so diehard, and now they're finally seeing, I think, the success that they deserve. But they've been tinkering away for at least a good 15 years.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that they have a career arc, which is, starting low, but gradually and steadily,
An arc, yeah.
going up, is they have they have a real career, like a lifelong career. And I think that's because they have taken the time to really connect with their fans. And that's what it takes in this day and age to have a lifelong career, as opposed to just being a flash in the pan, because your fans will remember who you are. And that's something that we especially just take pride in, is at every show, we're always at the merch table after for like a good hour, just talking to everybody. And we stay until they kick us out, because we just want to make sure we talk to everyone. And it's gotten us, even in other countries, people really appreciate that and they know who we are. And I think it's because they know that we genuinely care.
I think like people will care more about your music and you as a person if you just make like a personal connection with someone, right? So even if it's just talking to someone for 5 minutes after a show, that person will remember the conversation and you'll remember them. And then the next time they come to a show, you guys will talk again. And, you know, like they just feel more connected to the band because they like the people in the band, right? So it's important. Yeah.
Well, speaking of connecting with people online, what's the best place for them to find you? On the internet, not in person. What are your address here? I'm asking for your
IP address?
I was going to say, with Pokemon Go, you can find me. We have all the websites. So if you want to check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, anything, Facebook. But you can go to our website, which is just ilovecouragemylove.com. Courage My Love was taken, so... but if you go to ilovecouragemylove.com, all our socials are there. Perfect. And, you know, iTunes, all of that kind of stuff. But pretty much anything you can imagine, we're on.
Awesome.
Awesome, and you can find us, as in the show, on Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to visit our website and pick up one of our shirts, which I'm always talking about while you're there.
Yes, and as for me, I'm working on my second solo album, and you can be part of it at marcinavelli.com/pledge. And I've also got an acoustic EP coming out that I would love for you to go get. You actually get a free download of that when you support my upcoming new solo album. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Spotify, which are all my name, Marcia Novelli.
And I'm working on websites for various artists at the moment, and you can check out my work and my blog at electrickiwi.co.uk. You'll find me on Twitter and Instagram as Electric Kiwi, and Facebook, Electric Kiwi Design.
This episode was brought to you by Chris Keaton, Joe Centenary, Buck Naked Soap Company, 30 Roses, and Social Surge. All links are in the show notes, so please check them out because they help to keep the show alive.
And if you want to help keep the show alive and receive a free t-shirt, visit patreon.com/bridgetheatlantic. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes as well, so you don't miss any episodes. And also leave us a comment and let us know what you think of the show.
Yes, Mercedes and Phoenix, you girls are just awesome.
Thanks. You guys too. Thanks for the interview.
Yeah, you're really a pleasure to chat with, and I just wish you continued success. And I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the new album, and I'll see you guys at the show soon.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
I'm going to go and pre-order the album right now because I believe I can pre-order it from your website. So
you can.
I'm going to get on that.
Sure.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys. You guys are really great hosts. Yeah. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Man, you guys are the only ones that make us feel good about ourselves. You're awesome. Right? Come back anytime, okay?